Suffering is something we all encounter at some point in life. But what if I told you it's not your enemy? Society tends to make us believe that pain is something to avoid, but in reality, it's often the catalyst for profound transformation. Think about the moments in your life when everything felt like it was falling apart. The emotional weight, the feeling of being broken, it may have seemed unbearable, but in those moments, the raw truth was often revealed, and that truth was the first step towards your growth. Suffering doesn't defeat you, it sharpens you, like steel in the fire, pushing you to face what you would normally avoid. The more we resist pain, the harder it feels, right? But imagine if instead of pushing it away, you leaned into it. Just like a storm that cleanses the air, suffering clears out the emotional clutter, allowing you to see things clearly. This shift in mindset is crucial. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" This simple change in perspective is how suffering transforms into wisdom. Think about it: when something significant is lost, you're forced to reflect on what truly matters. That's not a curse, it's an awakening. And yet, so many try to avoid suffering at all costs. They chase distractions, fill their lives with noise, or cover up their feelings. But this resistance only prolongs the inevitable. When you finally allow yourself to feel the discomfort, you're opening the door to a whole new realm of inner strength. This is where real healing happens. The longer you resist, the longer you stay stuck in a place of fear and avoidance. So, embrace what comes. It's not about suffering for the sake of it, but about embracing the journey that leads you to a greater version of yourself. This is where the magic happens, when suffering is seen not as something to run from, but as a guide that leads you to a higher state of being. As you confront the truth within your pain, you begin to see a new perspective on life. It's like turning the lights on in a dark room. Suddenly realize that you have everything you need to move forward. There's a purpose in the suffering, and if you allow yourself to understand it, it becomes the fuel for your spiritual growth. But what happens after this shift? What do you do when you finally acknowledge the power of suffering? Well, that's where the next part of your transformation begins. Many view suffering as something to be avoided at all costs. It's uncomfortable, overwhelming, and often feels like an obstacle that slows you down. But have you ever considered that it might be a teacher in disguise? When you experience pain, whether emotional or physical, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. However, suffering has an uncanny way of forcing us to question what really matters and where our true strength lies. It's like a mirror held up to our lives, showing us the things we may not want to see but need to confront. What if suffering was not here to harm you, but to guide you? Think of the most challenging moments you've faced, times when you thought you couldn't go any further. Did those moments not push you to discover parts of yourself you never knew existed? Suffering can be a profound teacher, not by breaking you down, but by helping you build a deeper understanding of yourself. It forces you to face the uncomfortable truth. There's a stronger, wiser version of you waiting on the other side of this trial. Sometimes, the most valuable lessons in life come from the hardest moments, teaching you resilience, courage, and the ability to grow through adversity. One of the things that suffering does is strip away the illusions we've built around ourselves. For example, in the midst of hardship, the things we thought defined us, our ego, our status, our need for approval, often lose their grip. When everything falls apart, what's left? Your inner strength. This is the part of you that suffering calls forth. It's not the mask you wear to impress others. It's the person underneath, unpolished and raw, but resilient. It's through these moments of pain that we discover the depth of our true self. Instead of seeing suffering as the enemy, think of it as a tool for spiritual growth. Like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble, suffering can refine you, removing what's unnecessary, leaving only what truly matters. You might resist, fight back, and question the fairness of it all, but in doing so, you miss the chance to learn the greatest lesson of all. The sooner you stop seeing pain as a punishment and start recognizing it as a teacher, the quicker you access the freedom it brings. There's a certain power that comes with the acceptance of suffering. When you stop trying to avoid it and instead allow it to teach you, you unlock a part of yourself that was previously dormant. Like a hidden gem within the rock, suffering exposes something valuable within you. It can be uncomfortable, yes, but it's also an invitation to awaken, to evolve, and to step into a new phase of your life. So, how can you use suffering as a tool? The next step in your transformation begins with embracing the lessons pain brings. Suffering is not something that happens to you by chance. It's an inherent part of being human. From the moment we are born, we begin the journey of experiencing discomfort, loss, and even joy. However, many people try to avoid or deny this part of life. The truth is, suffering is the foundation of existence itself. It's the reality that, deep down, we all must face. But this doesn't mean we are doomed to endless misery. In fact, suffering can be the doorway to understanding, a way to peel back the layers of life to reveal what truly lies beneath. Think about it, every part of your life, both the good and the bad, has shaped who you are today. The pain you've experienced wasn't just a random occurrence. It played a role in guiding you to where you are now. Suffering and growth are intertwined, like two sides of the same coin. You wouldn't be the person you are without having gone through challenges that forced you to face your fears and limitations. Imagine the growth that occurs when you realize your struggles were always part of a greater plan, a plan designed to help you become who you were always meant to be. The Buddha himself spoke of suffering, calling it dukkha, the reality of life that exists in all beings. Whether we are conscious of it or not, it's woven into the fabric of existence. It's not a negative force, but a natural element that pushes us toward personal growth. From heartbreak to failure, every experience offers a lesson that brings you closer to inner clarity. Think about a tree. It grows stronger not just because of the sun, but because of the storms that challenge its roots. Similarly, our resilience grows through the tough times, teaching us important life lessons. One of the greatest misconceptions about suffering is that it's something to be avoided or escaped. Yet, when we look closely, we see that it's in the very heart of pain that we find wisdom. The discomfort we experience often helps us shift our perspective, enabling us to see life in new and profound ways. It is through our emotional healing that we can start to connect with a deeper sense of purpose. Suffering forces us to ask the right questions about ourselves, our desires, and our true purpose. When you start to understand suffering as an essential part of life, you unlock a powerful truth. It's not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. The ability to embrace suffering, instead of running from it, opens the door to spiritual growth. The next step is to see suffering as a way to shed what no longer serves you, making space for what truly matters. But how do you begin this journey of transformation? The answer lies in self-reflection, looking within and acknowledging the lessons pain brings. The root of suffering often lies not in the external events that occur, but in the way we attach ourselves to them. We build our identities and expectations around things, people, and outcomes. We crave success, approval, and comfort, while resisting the discomfort of failure, rejection, or uncertainty. This attachment to specific desires and the resistance to what we cannot control is the foundation of much of our pain. When things don't go as planned, we feel frustrated or disappointed, as if the world has betrayed us. But what if these attachments were the very source of our suffering? Consider the moments when you felt frustration or anger. Was it because of the event itself? Or was it because you expected something different? Perhaps it was a situation that didn't align with your desires, or a person who didn't meet your expectations. The problem isn't the external event, but your attachment to a specific outcome. You may find yourself stuck in an endless loop, constantly seeking things that provide temporary happiness, or trying to avoid what you fear. This internal battle creates the tension that leads to suffering. In order to break free, the first step is to recognize these attachments. Attachment doesn't only apply to tangible things. It can also take the form of beliefs, habits, or even emotions. You might feel tied to the version of yourself that once was, or to a role you've outgrown. Resistance to letting go of these attachments keeps you anchored in the past, preventing you from fully embracing the present. The idea of self-worth tied to external validation or material success can be particularly powerful. When you realize that you are not defined by your possessions, relationships, or achievements, you can start to release these attachments and experience a greater sense of freedom. In the Buddhist tradition, Samudaya, the origin of suffering, teaches that our cravings and aversions create the foundation of our pain. This craving for what we desire and our aversion to what we fear create an imbalance within us. But this imbalance can be healed. By letting go of these attachments, we allow space for inner peace and true contentment. It's not about rejecting desires, but about releasing the need for control over everything that happens in life. The moment we stop fighting reality is when true transformation begins. Releasing attachment and resistance doesn't mean that we abandon our dreams or stop caring. It means accepting that the world will unfold as it will, and that we don't have to control everything. This shift in perspective allows us to find peace in the chaos, instead of being swept away by it. When you begin to let go, you free yourself from the chains of attachment and start living in alignment with your true self. The next stage of your transformation will begin once you embrace this inner freedom and release the resistance that's been holding you back. When we think about suffering, we often focus on how difficult it feels in the moment. But suffering has a transformative power that we often fail to recognize until we look back. The truth is, it's in the moments of deepest pain that we are given the opportunity to release the things that no longer serve us. Letting go isn't easy. It's not about abandoning our dreams or desires, but about detaching from the need for control. When we hold on too tightly to certain things, we stifle our own growth. It's only when we release our attachments that we create room for something greater. Think about the last time you faced a significant change in your life. Maybe it was a job change, a move to a new place, or the end of a relationship. In those moments, did you feel resistance? Did you want to hold on to what was familiar, even if it wasn't serving you anymore? Letting go requires courage. It feels like you're losing a part of yourself. But in reality, it's about shedding old layers that have been keeping you from becoming who you're truly meant to be. Each release is a small act of self-liberation, allowing you to step into your true self. As you let go of attachments, something incredible happens. You start to experience life with greater clarity. The unnecessary clutter that once occupied your mind and soul begins to dissipate, and in its place comes a newfound sense of freedom. You no longer feel trapped by your past or by expectations. You begin to trust that life will unfold as it should, without needing to manipulate or control every outcome. This shift in perception is where true growth happens. The struggle to hold on loosens, and you're able to move forward with a sense of peace. Letting go of attachments doesn't mean you're giving up on life. It's actually the opposite. It's about choosing to embrace the flow of life without fighting against it. You stop holding on to the idea of who you were supposed to be or what you were supposed to accomplish. Instead, you create space for what's meant to come next. It's an act of faith, believing that what lies ahead will be even better than what you left behind. This faith allows you to step into a higher version of yourself, ready to embrace the transformation that is unfolding. In the process of letting go, you may experience moments of discomfort. The ego will fight back, creating doubts and fears about what's being lost. But remember, this discomfort is a sign of transformation. Just like a tree shedding its leaves in the fall, you're shedding the parts of yourself that no longer align with your true purpose. Each step away from what's familiar and comfortable is a step towards your most authentic self. Surrendering is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It's the ultimate act of trusting yourself and the process of spiritual growth. Imagine suffering as a crucible, a space where intense heat melts down everything that isn't essential, leaving only what truly matters. This is the power of suffering. It has the ability to strip away the layers of your ego and force you to face your most authentic self. The intensity of pain and hardship often feels unbearable, but in these moments, we are presented with the most profound opportunities for self-discovery. Think about it in times of struggle, when everything seems to fall apart. It's actually the universe inviting you to step into a new version of yourself. Just as a gem's brilliance is revealed through pressure, your true strength is revealed in moments of suffering. When things are difficult, we tend to look outward for answers, but the real answers are always within us. Suffering is not just about pain, it's about what it teaches us when we open ourselves to the process. It's through self-reflection in the face of hardship that we come to understand our values, our purpose, and the core of our being. This is the key to unlocking your potential. The more you resist, the longer the process of transformation takes. Embrace it, and you begin to see suffering as a pathway to clarity. When you face suffering head-on, you allow it to purify you, just like gold being refined in a fire. The more you resist, the more the pain intensifies. But the moment you accept the lesson, the transformation begins. This is how suffering guides you towards spiritual growth. It reveals the false beliefs you've been holding on to and makes way for the emergence of your true self. As difficult as it may be, you have everything you need to navigate through this pain. It's not about avoiding the storm, but about learning to dance in the rain. Think of suffering as an opportunity to shed the parts of yourself that no longer serve you. It's through letting go of attachments and old beliefs that you can start to make space for new growth. Every tear, every heartbreak, every failure is an essential part of this journey. Without these moments of crucible-like pain, we would never be pushed to go beyond the limits of our previous self. Each challenge faced, each hardship endured, becomes a stepping stone to a more authentic version of you. In embracing this transformation, you discover resilience and wisdom you never knew you had. Self-discovery through suffering isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Every moment of discomfort teaches you something invaluable. As you continue on your journey, you'll see how each trial leads you to the next stage of your personal growth. It's in these moments of deepest pain that we discover our true strength and are able to rise above our previous limitations. Embrace suffering as your greatest teacher and allow it to guide you to the life that is waiting for you on the other side. Pain has a unique way of opening our eyes to what truly matters in life. When facing difficult moments, everything else seems to fade into the background, forcing you to focus on what's right in front of you. This moment of awakening is essential for growth. It's when you feel most vulnerable, when everything seems to be falling apart, that you reconnect with your true self. Challenges remove distractions, push you to reflect deeply, and guide you toward clarity. It's in this inner reflection that your most profound growth begins. Struggling isn't a sign of weakness, it's a call to action. When you realize that hardship has a purpose, your perception changes. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you learn to embrace it, knowing it's pushing you toward a greater version of yourself. In moments of difficulty, you might feel like you're losing everything, but you're actually gaining something priceless, a clearer understanding of your strengths. The greatest transformation often comes when we push through life's challenges, each one offering a lesson that shapes us into stronger individuals. Have you ever noticed that after overcoming a hard time, you emerge more resilient and self-aware? It's as if those tough moments rebuilt you, helping you let go of old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve your purpose. What felt overwhelming transforms into a tool for transformation. As you approach life's challenges with courage and openness, you'll realize that hardship was never a punishment, it was a stepping stone. The growth that follows is often the reward for showing up to face what lies ahead. Think about how adversity helps you clarify what truly matters. In times of ease, it's easy to overlook what requires attention. But when life feels hard, it forces you to pause and reassess your values. The discomfort reveals the areas where you've been out of alignment. It's life's way of guiding you back to your purpose. Challenges, when viewed through a lens of self-awareness, are not obstacles, but opportunities for personal development. Once you begin to view hardship as a natural part of life and a catalyst for change, you realize that each experience, no matter how challenging, carries the potential for growth. This shift in perspective allows you to embrace difficulties as opportunities to grow, develop, and realign with your true purpose. The key is practicing mindfulness, accepting each moment as it is and trusting that it will pass, leaving you equipped for the next chapter of your journey. Letting go is often viewed as one of the hardest things we can do. The ego fights fiercely to hold on to what's familiar, even when it no longer serves us. But in reality, the act of releasing is the most powerful tool we have for personal evolution. When we hold on to old versions of ourselves, old habits, or past identities, we trap ourselves in a life that isn't aligned with who we truly are. True transformation begins when we have the courage to shed what we've outgrown and step into the unknown. Think about the roles you've played in your life, whether as a parent, an employee, a friend, or a partner. These roles can sometimes define us, and we become attached to them. But the moment we cling too tightly to any identity, we stop evolving. Releasing doesn't mean abandoning everything that defines us. It means allowing ourselves the freedom to evolve beyond those roles. It's about recognizing that we are more than just our labels or past experiences. When we detach from those identities, we allow space for our true self to emerge. The fear of letting go often comes from the belief that we are losing something valuable. But in truth, what we are letting go of is the outdated, limiting version of ourselves. It's natural to resist change, but true growth requires us to move beyond what we've known. For instance, think about a time when you decided to pursue a new path, even though it felt uncertain. That discomfort was the ego's resistance to change. But on the other side of that resistance was your potential. When you allowed yourself to step into the unknown, you began to unlock new possibilities for growth. Letting go isn't a loss, it's an act of courage. It's about realizing that the past does not define you, and that what lies ahead is far more fulfilling. For many, this act of surrender can feel like a release of control. But ironically, by surrendering, we find a deeper sense of control over our future. The more we release, the more we allow ourselves to be in alignment with the energy of life's flow. The process is not easy, but the rewards are immense. You are making room for abundance, peace, and true self-discovery. When you choose to let go of the old self, you are stepping into the unknown with confidence and strength. It's in this vulnerability that the real transformation occurs. Mindfulness helps guide us through this process, allowing us to observe our attachments without becoming consumed by them. As you let go of the past, you create space for new experiences, for new energy, and for a deeper connection with your authentic self. Remember, letting go is not about abandoning. It's about embracing what's next and trusting that it will lead you to where you're meant to be. Control is something we all strive for, yet it often leaves us feeling more anxious and disconnected than ever. The desire to control every aspect of our lives, from relationships to outcomes, can be all-consuming. But what if I told you that the true freedom lies in relinquishing control? The need for control often stems from our ego, which craves certainty and predictability. But life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. Liberation comes when we stop forcing things into place and allow them to unfold naturally. Think about the times when you've tried to control a situation, only for it to spiral out of your hands. The harder you grip, the more it slips away. But when you take a step back and allow the flow of life to guide you, opportunities, and solutions present themselves with ease. This is where surrender becomes a powerful tool. The more you let go, the more you create space for new possibilities. You stop exhausting yourself by trying to manipulate every detail, and instead, you start to trust that life will provide exactly what you need when you need it. Control isn't just about trying to manage the external world. It's also about trying to control your inner world, your emotions, your reactions, your beliefs. But true peace comes when you stop resisting your emotions, when you embrace them without judgment. You allow yourself to feel without attachment or fear. This inner surrender brings a sense of calm, even in the most challenging situations. Liberation is found in this acceptance, as you no longer feel like you need to control or suppress your feelings. They can simply be, and in that freedom, you find peace. The illusion of control is powerful, but it's also limiting. It keeps you stuck in patterns of fear and anxiety. When you release the need for control, you open the door to spiritual growth. You allow yourself to live in the present moment, where all your energy is focused on the now, not the what-ifs of the future or the should-haves of the past. The more you let go, the more you find yourself aligned with your true self and your purpose. It's in this alignment that you discover what really matters and what you're truly capable of. The process of letting go is an ongoing journey. It's not something that happens overnight, but each step toward releasing the illusion of control brings you closer to the freedom and peace you desire. Every time you let go, whether it's of a belief, a situation, or an outcome, you become lighter, more authentic, and more connected to the present. Liberation comes when you stop forcing life to bend to your will and instead allow life to unfold in its natural rhythm, bringing you closer to your true self. The journey of transformation isn't just about enduring challenges. It's about navigating them with wisdom and grace. One powerful tool for embracing change is the Eightfold Path, a guide to living a balanced and meaningful life. This path, rooted in ancient wisdom, provides practical steps for making the most of life's trials. It's not a quick fix, but a way of life that encourages self-awareness, mindfulness, and discipline. When we walk this path, we align our actions, thoughts, and beliefs with our higher purpose, making it easier to embrace change and grow through it. Each of the 8 steps on this path serves as a cornerstone for your transformation. The first step, right view, is about seeing things as they truly are without distortion. It's about acknowledging reality, no matter how uncomfortable, and being open to learning. With the right perspective, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for growth. It's through this lens of clarity that we are able to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and confidence. The Eightfold Path encourages us to develop a deeper understanding of the world and ourselves, which allows us to approach every situation with intention and purpose. The second step, right intention, is where you set your intentions in alignment with your values and goals. When you are clear about your true desires, you begin to move through life with purpose. This clarity gives you the courage to take action, even in the face of discomfort. The path to growth is not always smooth, but when your intentions are aligned with your deepest truth, you can stay focused and committed, knowing that every step forward is a step closer to your true self. Right intention helps you let go of attachments and trust the process, allowing the universe to guide you. As you move through the Eightfold Path, the practice of right speech and right action encourages you to align your words and actions with your core beliefs. The way you communicate and the actions you take reflect your inner state. By being mindful of your words, you cultivate compassion and authenticity, which in turn creates the conditions for healing and growth. As you speak and act in accordance with your true self, you find that life becomes easier, and the right opportunities start to present themselves. The act of aligning your speech and actions with your highest values is a form of surrender, letting go of the need to control the outcomes. The final steps of the Eightfold Path, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration complete the roadmap for embracing change. They call for an unwavering commitment to discipline and mindfulness in all areas of life. These steps guide you to live in a way that is congruent with your authentic self. As you practice these steps, you begin to notice how effortlessly life flows when you are in alignment with your purpose. This path encourages you to be present, to stay committed to personal growth, and to trust the journey ahead. By following the Eightfold Path, you not only begin to transform your life, but you also deepen your connection to the world around you. Every challenge you face becomes a stepping stone to a deeper understanding of your purpose. Transformation is no longer a distant goal, but a present reality that unfolds as you live in alignment with these principles. The Eightfold Path is your roadmap for embracing change, trusting in the process, and stepping into a life of abundance, peace, and clarity. Mindfulness and discipline are two sides of the same coin when it comes to navigating life's challenges. As you walk through moments of pain or discomfort, mindfulness allows you to stay grounded in the present moment. It teaches you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, which can help you gain a deeper understanding of your reactions and responses. When you are mindful, you are able to separate yourself from your immediate emotional reactions, allowing you to move through difficulty with clarity and purpose. Discipline, on the other hand, gives you the structure and focus needed to stay committed to the path of growth, even when it feels hard. In moments of suffering, it's easy to become consumed by our emotions, to let them control us. But mindfulness helps you break free from this cycle. By practicing being fully present in the moment, you learn to witness your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This awareness creates space for inner healing, enabling you to process your pain in a more constructive way. Mindfulness gives you the tools to meet discomfort with compassion, turning the pain into an opportunity for self-awareness and personal growth. Discipline acts as a partner to mindfulness, helping you stay consistent and focused. It's easy to fall off track when things get tough, but discipline keeps you anchored in your journey. It's the commitment to show up for yourself every day, no matter how difficult it may seem. It's about building the mental strength to keep moving forward, even when the road is uncertain. The power of discipline lies in its ability to create habits that foster growth and transformation. Mindfulness and discipline together provide the foundation for navigating suffering with resilience and strength. As you cultivate mindfulness and discipline, you'll notice that life begins to feel more manageable, even during the hardest times. You gain the ability to observe your emotions, make intentional decisions, and maintain your focus on the things that truly matter. You become more present with yourself and others, allowing your growth to be reflected in all aspects of your life. Mindfulness brings you into the moment, while discipline keeps you moving toward the future. Together, they create a balanced path towards self-improvement and spiritual growth. The beauty of combining mindfulness and discipline is that they help you understand that suffering is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced. As you deepen your practice, you find that each challenge becomes less of a burden and more of an opportunity for transformation. Mindfulness allows you to stay grounded, while discipline ensures you stay on track. Together, they are the key to navigating suffering, finding purpose, and creating a life filled with growth and abundance. This combination is the ultimate path to spiritual liberation. Transformation through suffering is one of life's most powerful and enduring processes. At first, it may seem overwhelming, like the pain is too much to bear, the challenge is too great. But when you look back at the journey, you'll realize that suffering was not the enemy. It was the catalyst that led you to your true self. Each difficult moment, each trial, each heartbreak, is part of a larger transformation that shapes you into the person you were meant to be. Suffering, in its rawest form, opens the door to freedom, allowing you to shed what no longer serves you and embrace the new version of yourself that's waiting to emerge. When you're in the midst of suffering, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you can shift your perspective, you begin to understand that transformation requires this intense process. It's through these dark moments that you learn to embrace your inner strength, As you endure hardship, you discover resilience, courage, and wisdom you never knew you had. This awakening is essential for growth. Freedom comes not from avoiding pain, but from learning how to move through it, understanding that it is leading you to something greater. The process of transformation often involves letting go of the old self, the versions of you that were shaped by external expectations and the ego. Releasing these parts of yourself can be painful, but it's necessary for growth. It's about letting go of attachments, fears, and illusions that no longer align with your authentic self. When you allow yourself to surrender to this process, you begin to see that everything that was once a struggle is actually the ground for your spiritual growth. Each challenge becomes a lesson, and each lesson becomes a stepping stone toward your true purpose. This shift from suffering to freedom as trust that the universe is guiding you through every challenge, and that every experience is leading you to your true self. Faith in the process of transformation allows you to move forward even when you don't know what lies ahead. It's through this trust that you find the courage to release your attachments, to let go of what holds you back, and to step into the new chapter of your life. As you grow through your struggles, you realize that freedom isn't found in the absence of pain, but in the understanding that pain is a powerful teacher. Ultimately, the power of transformation is not just about surviving hardship, it's about thriving because of it. Every experience, no matter how difficult, has equipped you with the tools for growth and healing. As you move forward, you'll carry these lessons with you, and they will shape the future you create. Surrendering to the process of transformation is embracing the journey of becoming your true self, and through that journey, you unlock a freedom that is unparalleled. This is the freedom that comes from knowing that you have the power to navigate any challenge, and in doing so, you become the best version of yourself. The journey of transformation is never linear, but it is always worth it. As we move through life, we encounter moments of suffering and struggle. Yet, these moments hold the power to awaken parts of ourselves that we've long ignored or been too afraid to face. Every hardship is a chance for you to shed the layers that no longer serve you and to embrace a more authentic, true version of yourself. Surrendering to this process, trusting in the lessons it brings, and having the faith that growth will follow, is the key to creating a life filled with purpose, abundance, and true inner peace. Remember, growth doesn't come without discomfort, but it is in the discomfort that your inner strength is forged. It's through the struggle that you find the clarity you've been searching for, and the wisdom you need to take the next step on your journey. This is not just about surviving the challenges. It's about using those challenges to transform into the person we were always meant to be. By letting go of old patterns, you create the space for new experiences, new growth, and new freedom. In every trial, there's a seed of healing waiting to be discovered. Each difficult moment offers the opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow. Embrace this journey of becoming your true self with open arms, for it is through this process that you will uncover your deepest potential. The road may not always be easy, but each step forward is a step toward liberation, clarity, and the life you are meant to lead. So, as you stand at the threshold of your own transformation, remember this: you are not alone in this journey. Many have walked this path before you and many will after you. But what sets you apart is your willingness to face the challenges head on, to trust the process, and to step into the unknown with courage. The future holds limitless possibilities, and it is yours for the taking. Now is the time to make the choice to embrace the journey and the transformation that awaits you. You have everything you need within you to create the life you've always wanted. The power to transform already in your hands. Trust yourself, trust the process, and trust that the best is yet to come.